Welcome to part 25. We are still exploring the Forest Temple, and now we're going to do a bit of backtracking to the twisted hallway and to the room where the two blue bubbles are located, because now that we have the fairy bow, we are going to shoot the ice witch, and when we shoot the ice witch, a very interesting effect will take place. Yes. Alright, again, there's still that creature that lurks in the shadows, and I will tell you what it is in a moment. Again, it is an enemy from past Zelda games, so keep that in mind. Now that I have the fairy bow, I can technically shoot these blue bubbles, but I do not want to waste any ammo, so I just went ahead and just used the hook shot to try and stun these things, even though they move quick. Come on! There we go. Oh, cool. Got more arrows. Anyway, pull out the fairy bow, shoot the ice witch, and when that happens, it will trigger the following effect. This will pull back here, and it will straighten the twisted hallway, with the effect that it will change the layout of the adjacent room. So, yeah, when we enter this doorway now, we'll go down a straight pathway, and the room ahead will be quite different. And we need the room to be quite different for two reasons. One, there's an item we can get right down there, in fact, and two, we need to drop down that hole. Now first, here's the creature that Navi alludes to. It is the Wall Master! Yes, they're back. They are as annoying as ever. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, the Wall Master is an enemy that has appeared since the very first Zelda game. Their primary purpose is to pretty much snatch Link and drag him back to the very beginning of the dungeon, no matter how far you have gone, and that is annoying. Anyway, before I continue with the Wall Master, this fancy looking chest contains the boss key. So yeah, whenever we see these yellow bluish chests, know that there's a boss key inside. So yeah. Anyway, just go down this hole right here, and be careful, there are blue bubbles, take them out. And of course, be careful. And once we take care of these blue bubbles, the door will unseal, and the location of that door will take us to the first courtyard we've encountered, but the upper area of the courtyard. Now you want to be careful not to fall off, because if we do, we will have to do some backtracking, and that's terrible. Now we want to go right, but first, see this arch structure right there? Jump on it, and not only will we get a couple of recovery hearts, we will be in range to get a gold skulltula. So yeah, be careful, be careful, mind your steps, make sure you don't fall off by accident, because we do not want to do any backtracking. That'd be terrible. Alright. And there's token nabbed. Hooray. Alright. When we get back up to this upper area, there is a big Deku Baba right there, trying to take a bite at you. And now that we have arrows, we can just pretty much shoot him from a distance, and that is fantastic. Because I don't want to take any more damage than necessary. See, it is nice to have projectile weapons present, because, yeah, it makes you feel all safe, secure, and powerful, knowing that you can just pick off enemies from a distance. And, but of course, the drawback is the how much ammo you have. So, again, mind your aim. Make sure Navi Z targets said item so we can shoot properly. So, yeah. Anyway, when you get, what you want to do here is take a right here, and when we go through this door, we will encounter not a Wall Master. No, folks, this is a Floor Master, the cousin to the Wall Master. They attack that is that whenever they turn green, they are invincible, and you can just do damage to them. And when you do damage to a floor master, they will split into 3 smaller floor masters. Now you gotta kill these quick because they will reassemble into the big floor master. And if you manage to kill 2 of them, the third one will try and grab you to suck enough energy, and if it sucks enough energy, it will grow into pretty much a new big floor master. So yeah. So basically, after you split the floor master, just use Din's fire to incinerate them, and then you would get a small key as a reward. So yeah. Alright, we're done with this area. Now, go through the door to the right, and we will find ourselves in the upper area of the block puzzle room. And of course, the blue bubble has respawned, so yeah. Anyway, you want to, again, at this point I decided to switch to the Deku Nuts because their stunning capabilities are superior than that of the hook shot. Mainly because the blue bubbles move too darn fast for me to properly stun them. So, yeah. Anyway, let me go back to the concept of the wall masters because, yeah, again, these things have been around since the first Zelda game. Their modus operandi is to snatch Link and drag him back to the beginning of the dungeon, no matter how far you go. And they've pretty much been a pain in any Zelda player's side because, I mean, you get so far into a dungeon, and then here comes this big old disembodied hand to nab you and take you back to the beginning of the dungeon where you have to do all this backtracking and waste more of your time and ugh. But thankfully in this game, yeah, there are early warning signs to the appearance of wall masters. Okay, when you first enter the room with said wall master, Navi will point out, it's like, look out for dark creatures. And the second thing is to watch for their shadows and a noise. So yeah, and you can dodge them easily. And it takes 2 sword swipes to kill the wall master. So yeah. Anyway, now that I'm back here in this room again, take the fairy bow, shoot the ice witch, and by doing so, it will retwist the hallway. And we need the hallway retwisted because we need to finally proceed onward towards the next area of the Forest Temple, beyond the Stalfos mini boss room where I got the fairy bow. So yeah. Oh, and here's another trick to avoid wall masters in this game. If you switch to first person mode just before the wall master drops, it will disappear temporarily. So keep that in mind. Anyway, now that I got what I need, we're just going to backtrack right here. There's Joe's flame. And what sucks here is that the pots do not respawn any hearts or any other useful items, so that is terrible. That is so lame. Anyway, we are now here at the other end, and there is a Poe here as well. In fact, it is identical to Joe's Poe. Here we are meeting Beth. Beth is the second youngest of the Poe sisters, who wears blue, and she is named after Beth March, the second youngest of the March sisters from the story Little Women. So yeah, again, this is identical to the Joe thing. We have to shoot 3 paintings. We have to shoot the paintings that have Beth in them, and if Beth sees you, she will navigate to the other paintings, so it's best not to let her see you. And again, once all 3 paintings are destroyed, Beth will reveal herself. She will go down to the bottom of the stairwell, and we're going to have to shoot arrows to kill her and release the flame. So yeah. And of course, the same strategy applies to Beth as it did for Joe. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm going to stay within the stairwell. You got to manually aim the bow and arrow so that you get a shot at Beth. Because, again, if you Z-target these Poes, they will turn invisible. And we want to actually see them in order to shoot them. So, yeah. And it's pretty self-explanatory right here, so I got nothing to say at the moment. Except that when she eventually dies, her flame will be released into this torch and into the torch in the elevator room. So yeah, we're halfway there. Alright, just pick up the arrows she drops, and there's a big chest there. And the only big chest left in this dungeon is the compass, so yeah. Now that we can see where the boss is located and all the treasure chests, so that's fun. Anyway, break these pots open for arrows and hearts, and then we will proceed forward. I wonder what that sound is. That is that a voice or something? Because if it does, it really adds to the atmosphere of this music. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, just use a small key on this door, and we are in a similar room to that other Wallmaster room. And just like that other Wallmaster room, there is a Wallmaster in this room too. So again, mind the shadow and that loud noise it makes, and make sure it does not snatch you up, because that would be terrible. And of course, when you kill these things, they yield a huge amount of rupees. So if you want to get rupees, you want to kill the Wallmaster. I mean, it takes 2 sword swipes to take care of this thing once and for all. So yeah. Easy source of cash. Although for some reason I do not pick up rupees, or at least all of them, when I kill the Wallmaster. So yeah. Anyway, I went ahead to kill the Wallmaster because I do not want to interfere with me climbing this way, because when we go up this way right here, we will enter a hallway, a straight hallway, that contains these enemies. These are the green bubbles. They are much easier than their blue counterparts, in which they just float around doing nothing, and their flames every once in a while just phase out, and it only takes 1 sword swipe to kill these things. So yeah, that's kind of odd. Anyway, when you use the other small key in this room, we are in this room right here with the spinning platforms and some kind of liquid, and there is a ice switch here, but it's frozen. The gimmick with this room is we have to ride these platforms, and we have to use the ferry boat to fire through this torch to melt the ice switch. So yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we aim it so that when we pass the torch, we shoot the arrow through the fire, and the fire lit arrow will strike the frozen ice switch, and it'll pretty much well, I'll show you what it does. Now of course you can make sure you aim properly, because again, you can miss, and it's possible, but you can waste all your arrows trying to get this ice switch. I mean, it is possible, but if you come in with a full complement of arrows, like 30 arrows worth, you should be able to take care of this fine. Also, make sure you aim properly. And if you do happen to run out of arrows, there are pots on the main floor that have arrows in them, so at least the game is considerate enough for you to at least have a chance at this. Anyway, when you finally melt the ice switch and trigger the ice switch too, it will twist the hallway. So yeah. And now what we have to do is make our way back to that hallway and proceed onwards. Now, here I just went ahead and jumped off to break these pots so I can get some stuff. Like I said, there are arrows in this one, and I'm back in full health, so yay. Now the only thing is, though, there is no ladder for me to get onto this platform with the door, so we're going to have to get to the one where the ice switch is located to get back on these spinning platforms, and use these spinning platforms to hop back to the platform with the door. So, what is this reddish liquid? I mean, it doesn't look like lava. I mean, is it water flavored or is it blood? What is this liquid? What kind of place is this? Well, of course, it is a haunted place, so naturally it'll be kind of filled with spooky things, so yeah. Of course, when we re-enter this twisted corridor, the green bubbles will respawn. So, yay. Now, honestly, I could have just ignored the green bubbles because, again, they just hover in place in like these little mini circles. They're very easy for me to dodge. And, of course, it wouldn't be worth the effort. But, hey. Whatever. I just want to kill some things. Perhaps it would yield goodies. So yeah, again, twisting the hallway will change the adjacent room. And what it is it will make this hole over here accessible to me. And, well, yeah. Also, to point out, the wall masters in past games tend to take a bluish appearance. This one's here is a brownish rotting hand. So yeah. Now we're back. Now you do not want to go this way because again, this leads back to Beth's area. So instead, see that hole right there? We're gonna fall down that hole, which will lead us to the next room. This checkered floored room. And that is a odd-looking ceiling. Anyway, this way right here, we are not going to go this way because it leads to nowhere in particular. Pretty much worthless. Anyway, this as we get closer, this ceiling right here will start falling. And thank you, Navi, for pointing out the obvious. So yeah, this ceiling is falling, and if you get crushed, you'll end up back at the beginning of this area with less health, and we do not want that. Thankfully, there are holes in the ceiling that will allow us to slip by without taking damage. However, there are some areas, some holes that are currently occupied, particularly with big Skulltulas. Now, those areas, if you see the shadows on the bottom, that means there are big Skulltulas there, and they will knock you back, and if you do not recover in sufficient amount of time, you will get smashed by the ceiling, and we do not want that. Well, what you want to do is stand on the switch so that the door will unseal, and you can proceed onward towards said door. Anyway, also while in this checkered board puzzle area, we cannot switch to first-person mode, so that's going to make viewing a little more difficult. Now, I could have gone ahead and went through that door, but I want to show you what's inside this chest. I mean, inside this chest is something of, well, it depends on if you need arrows or not. Yeah, it's just a bundle of arrows right there. And I was already full, so yeah, that was a waste. Anyway, in this room here, we're going to meet Poe number 3. Poe number 3 here is Amy. Amy here is the youngest of the Poe sisters and is named after Amy March, who is the youngest of the March sisters from the story Little Women. Now, Amy is a bit different from the previous two. When you shoot Amy's painting, these blocks will fall from the ceiling. Our goal is to move these blocks to assemble Amy's picture, and when we do so, Amy will appear and we will start fighting. Now, what makes this a bit difficult is two things. One, there's this fifth block that appears that's pretty much useless, and it's there to pretty much intimidate me, like pretty much be dead weight, and that can affect the times and stuff. And speaking of time, there is a time limit to assembling these blocks. Now, if we do not make it within the time limit, the blocks will rearrange themselves, and we have to start assembling the picture from scratch. But the good news is, every time we restart assembling the blocks, the timer will increase by just 10 seconds. So we got a little bit more time to assemble Amy's picture. Now, thankfully, you can have this to your advantage. Like sometimes when the blocks rearrange themselves, sometimes they can be in a perfect position for you just to push them so that you will be able to assemble Amy's picture in less time, and we'll fight her. Now, folks, there's a good chance you may not get a picture assembled on your first try, but that's okay. Again, it might take a second try or might even a third time. But remember, the time does increase every time you screw up. So keep that in mind, because this game wants you to have a chance to actually win. So yeah. So when the block is fully assembled, like when her picture is fully assembled, Amy will appear, and again, I'm going to keep my distance since there's no stairwell this time. And I'm going to just shoot Amy from a distance with arrows. So yeah. No, these Poe Sisters aren't much of a threat. I mean, they just stand there. They occasionally turn invisible. They strike their flame things at me. But if I target them, they'll turn invisible and try and hit me too. So yeah. So, what's with the game developers' obsession with Little Women? Honestly. Anyway, with Amy dead, the flame will be released here and in the elevator room. Alright. So, let's go collect some stray arrows. Just open the pots if we need supplies and stuff. And yeah. And this corridor here will take us to a corridor with the big Skulltula, which will take us back to the main elevator room. And that is where the final Poe will be located. And yeah, we'll be facing her actually in part 26. So yeah, we'll be facing her, we'll get access to the elevator, and we will face the boss. So we'll see you then.